Hello and welcome to this demo video for the energy usage report. I'm going to show you how to use this product, and also obviously this demo video is broken down into a few sections. So let's start with the first section. That first section is how to edit the half-hourly data exports so that they will actually work in the spreadsheet. And the first thing that I need to show you is the layout for that spreadsheet. So what we've got here is we've got two tabs, data 1 and data 2, and what these do is they're each the same data. It's 1 year's worth of data on each one, but they're different types of data. Most of these reports will export 2 batches of data, some more than 2, but you need to select the 2 batches of data that you want to use. Now I filled some things in here already, so let's just remove let's remove that. And I'll show you what I mean by the 2 different kinds of data. If we look at the first spreadsheet, this is half-hour data A. This one's laid out in a much better way. You've got your MPAN number, your settlement, that's the date, half-hour 1, half-hour 2, half-hour 3, half-hour 4, and so on, all the way to half-hour 48. Now it's got half-hour 49 and 50, which we're not really interested in, because we only want up to 48. These are mostly blank. There is some data down here. I'm not sure why. And then you got your half-hour 1, half-hour 2 with the A, and so on. And that we're not looking at either. What we're concentrating on is from here across to half-hour 48. So that's the data we've got. So what we can actually do now is we can take everything from here across and actually right-click and say clear contents. We don't need that. That's what we're actually, in fact, it's even less. Scroll across. We can remove from here because we don't need all those A's. Right click, clear contents. That's what we need, up to 48. So now we've got the correct data, and if we scroll down, we can actually see we've got 367 less the header, which is 366, which is actually 1 year's worth of data. So that's exactly what we need. What is this measuring? Well, this is measuring AI. If we go to the other spreadsheet, it actually says here, if you leave this blank, the name of active import will be used. So this is actually measuring the active import, which is AI, so that's fine. We can leave that as it is. Now we go to the RI, which is the other type that it's measuring. If we go to the second lot of data here, we can see if you leave this blank, the name of reactive import, which is RI, will be used. So that's all right. We've got the RI, which is the correct data. So all we need to do here is double check again. HH half-hour 48. So anything beyond there, we can clear that. And let's go back again and scroll down to the bottom, 367. So that is a year's worth of data. So excluding the heading, everything else is data that we would need into the spreadsheet. So I'll show you how to copy and paste across in the next section. But that's just how you get this data ready. But now this was a fairly easy one. The other one is a little bit more tricky. I don't know how your data is going to come out, but the trick is to get it to look like what it looked with the right layout over here. So you can see there's 0 hour to 30, half-hour 1, half-hour 2, settlement date, and MPAN. So if we go back to the second option, this one's got the account number, it's got the bill ID, and that we don't need that. So if we actually right-click and delete those, now we've got the MPAN, and we've got the date. That's what we need. Measured kWh, that's fair enough. Now all of a sudden we've got all these 0 to 24 hours, and then after that it starts with a 0 again, and it's got all those null and A's. So if we clear that content, we don't need that. Now all of a sudden we've got up to 24 hours, we've got the MPAN, the date, we've got this extra column which is measured. We don't need that. But before we get rid of it, let's just scroll down and have a look. All of a sudden from kWh, if you scroll down to the 365 days, obviously within the year, or 366 depending on how many days it was, now all of a sudden it changes to kVARH, and it starts again on the 1st of January. And this goes beyond the year. So this is actually 2 years worth of data in one go, because you can see there's only one tab, there aren't 2 tabs. So this is actually a second lot of data. So if we highlight this entire row, right click and say insert, now all of a sudden we've inserted rows. Now the top is the first batch, the bottom is the second batch of data. So what's the first batch of data monitoring? kWh. So if we go back to here and we put in the first lot of data is actually kWh, and Oh, that wasn't the first lot. That was actually the second lot. If we go here to the first lot and go KWH, and then we say, all right, what's the second lot of data monitoring? Well, the second lot is KVARH, and then we go to the second lot and put in KVARH. Now when we go to other reports, and it says which would you want to view, you've got those two options. So that's the idea behind being able to rename it. If it is reactive import and active import, then leave it blank, because that's the default that it'll take. But if you're measuring something else, then you can actually put the name in there. Now, if you look at the second one, we've got that data ready to actually copy and paste that data across, or to copy and paste that across as the second batch. And if we look at the other template that we've got, we're ready to copy this data across for the first batch, and we're ready to copy that data across for the second batch. And essentially we'll copy and paste them into this sheet here, which I'll show you in a second. So that is how you edit the raw data. Obviously I'm only showing you two different kinds that I've come across. There may well be others, but really the bottom line is to get your data into this format and be able to name two of the different data sets as to what the naming is of those data sets, and get your data in such a way that you'll be able to copy and paste it into these two templates. So you want to match up all the headings with the headings on your sheet. So stay tuned for the next session where we'll take a look at how to do this. Thank you. All right, and straight on to session 2, where we take a look at copying and pasting this data. So if you watch this first session, you'll see I've got these two lots of half-hourly data. I'm going to take this first one because the data is more conclusive. Let's start right at the top. So we don't want to take the header. We want to start the next row down, right in column A. We push Shift, Control, and right. It highlights to the end. And because you've cleared all the other data, we're not going to add in any unnecessary data. And then put down, and it scrolls right down to the end, row 367. So we know we're in the right place. We copy. Right click and copy. Now we've copied that. Now this is the important bit. The only way really, there's maybe one or two ways that you can destroy the spreadsheet, but the main way how you can destroy the spreadsheet and render it completely useless so that you cannot use it again is by right clicking here and clicking paste. Because what that does is it copies the, if you use the normal paste, which is this first one, your data will appear in here, but what it does then is it keeps the formatting from the first spreadsheet. So A, it's not really going to read it properly, and B, you're going to end up locking this entire section, so you cannot remove this data or put in any, or replace it with any other data, and that's not really what you want. So what you want to do is click the second option, which is paste values. Now if you've got an older version of spreadsheet, you can select paste special, and the paste values will be under paste special. But for now, if you select paste values and you click on paste values, it pastes all those into the spreadsheet, but it keeps the correct formatting of the spreadsheet, which is what you want. It does put up a warning to say the impound numbers on the two data sheets don't match, but that doesn't matter because you haven't put the second batch in. Once you put it on, that should disappear. And this is active import, so we don't need to rename this data. Once you've done that, let's go to data 2, and let's go back to that half-hourly data, and this time we want the reactive import, and let's highlight that. Go down so that we've got to select that whole batch of data up to 367. Copy. We didn't select the heading, remember. We go back to the spreadsheet and we right click and we say paste values, and that's in the second one. Now that warning disappears. Now if you right click and you say paste values and it says you're trying to paste something into a locked cell and it won't allow it, what that means is that you've actually selected too much data, because you can remember you can only paste from here to there. It won't let you paste into there, and you can only paste from here down to the bottom there. It won't let you paste there. So if you select too much data, this allows a year, and including a leap year. So if you put in too much data, it won't allow it. So that would be a good indication that you've actually copied and pasted too much data, if it says that you're trying to paste into an unlocked cell. And also just have a brief check when you're done. See if I try and click on that unlock cell, it says you're trying to click, change on a protected worksheet. If that message pops up when you're pasting, you've copied too much data. And just double check that is the impound number, that is the date, and all of these are the correct readings. And once you've done that, you've essentially copied and pasted the data in, and you are ready to start using this chart, which we will go on to in the next session. All right, and welcome to the third section of this, and probably the most important section. We're assuming that you've got your data into data 1, we're assuming you've got your data into data 2. One other thing which I didn't mention, the other one, is you can actually put in the name of the company. That's not your company as in whoever's doing the spreadsheet necessarily, but if you've got a client, you can input your client company name over here. So in other words, if this is registered to you and your business is to check people's energy, and you're dealing with a client, you can put their name in here just so that it appears on the report. Whatever you put in there will appear on the second page. And then we move on to the first report, which is the overall annual report. And when you click on it the first time, it will be blank, as you can see here. There is data in there, but there's no data on the graph. And the reason being for that is because you haven't actually selected. Here you've got your active import energy, and there you've got your reactive import. But for the graph, you need to select which one you want. So all you do up here at the top, in the data, is click on the drop down, click on the cell to open up the drop down list, and then select which one you want. And in this case, let's have a look at the active import, and it pulls up the active import. The general rule of thumb throughout this entire spreadsheet are red cells like that. You can red sections you can edit, change, or select. Green ones you can't. That's why those are green at the bottom. And essentially, what this shows you is November, December, January, February. It shows you month by month how your data. So you can see there's a dip one day, there's a dip. You can kind of see how the different months progress. This red line is your daily average. So you can see where you're below average and where you're going above the average. And it's quite handy just to see an overall year, so you can see which months, if any, are lower than others, and also trends within each month. You can kind of see, okay, towards the end of the month it's going up, towards the end of the month it's going up. Those kind of things you can see on your annual one, but we'll be able to break this down further. It's quite handy just to see on an annual chart. And as you scroll down here, you can see all of the different import active totals, and then the average per day, the daily average, obviously each month. So you can see at a glance which months are lower, which months are higher, that kind of thing. You can see how they're ranked compared to each other as well. So that's also quite important to see on a monthly basis where the energy is being used, and it changes color accordingly. Next one along is the monthly report. Monthly report, exactly the same month. We'll select the month. Which month do you want? It gives you a list of the months based on the data entered. So this is from 2016, the data. So you can come down and go, well, let's have a look at July 2016. And again, it's blank because you haven't selected which data you want. So if you select active import, if you change that into reactive import, the data changes accordingly. So if you change to active import, now you can see, oh, there's my daily usage. You can see how the month goes. Your green line there being the minimum for the month, your red line being the maximum, and the orange being the average. So you can see which days of the month go above the average, which ones are near at the minimum, which ones are at the maximum. And it gives you quite a handy graph over that month, day by day. And again, if you scroll down, you can have a look and see at the daily totals and how each day ranks compared to other days, and whether it goes up from the previous day or down. Oh, these ones obviously got quite a lot higher. That's up from the average. So there's your average daily usage. These are all above average. Those are below. There's a few days there above. You can really analyze exactly what's going on through the energy throughout any month. And again, you can just come here and just change the month. If you change July to April, say for argument's sake, it'll change accordingly. So you can see exactly what's going on a month-to-month basis. Next one, the weekly report, same story. You can select any date. What I've done there is that one's basically pulled out the Mondays in and around that July. So in other words, it starts at June the 27th. Some of that will fall in July, and it will pull out the dates in that particular month. So if you're looking at July, you've got all the Mondays from July in the drop-down list. You can type in another date in a different month and just override it. But for the sake of this, let's just say, all right, fine. Let's take a look at the week of the 18th of July. And again, stays blank. What data do you want? Active import data. And there it is. Comes up for Monday the 18th, 19th, 20th, so on and so forth. So you can see on a weekly basis your energy usage throughout the week. The chart much like the annual one. Again, with the average half-hour usage of all the data and the average half-hour usage of the selection. So what's the average of this week, sorry. the blue one, and the red is the average of all, which means this month on average this week, sorry, on average is slightly more than the average daily usage over the entire annual period. Again, down here you can see how those all relate compared to the average half hour, and you can take a look through those figures there, so you can see which hours of the day you're using less electricity and which hours you're using more electricity. It's quite useful to be able to see as well. So that's that. Daily report. This again, input date. Here, as you click on the drop-down list, you've got all the dates from July, because July was the month we selected. Again, you can override it and put in a different date. But let's just see, if you want to continue with July, let's just say, well, actually, let's just take a closer look at Friday, the 22nd of July. Again, it's blank until you enter data, active import, there we go. Now, this is down at 0 because there were some zeros on the data sheet, and this is obviously a nice way to pick up if there are any errors. But if we went and found those zeros on the data sheet and just removed them, this would come in there. There was probably a time where there was no electricity for some reason on one of the days, and that's why it's showing that in the green, because the green is your minimum for the period over the year. So in other words, between 9:30 and 10 a.m. in the entire year, what's the minimum you've ever had in the year during that half-hour period? That's your green. There's your average over the year is the yellow. The maximum period over the year for each of those different hourly zones. So you can actually see here, for example, between 7:30 and 8, you pretty much on the average for the day, but the average for that period, you're slightly above that for that hour. There's the minimum you've ever had in that hour. There's the maximum you've ever had in an hour. So it's quite handy to see it on an hourly basis for that day, so you can really get into the nitty-gritty of exactly what's going on. The other thing that you'll notice is that these come up in green, yellow, red, green, yellow. These are the times that each of the different MPAN numbers will have different times of the day when they're in the red, yellow, and green, kind of from a pricing point of view. I would suggest that you don't take this as 100%, because obviously these can change. If you do discover that these are incorrect, please do notify us and we'll change and correct them. But this is just an indication of when the red periods are the yellow and the green. As I said, I would double check those for the specific meter that you're reading, and let us know if you do find any problems. But those should be all right from a point of view of showing you when the different time zones are. As we scroll down again, that shows you green, yellow, red, but also your usage and your rank and whether they're above or below average, and it goes through every single half-hour period of the day, from 0 all the way up to midnight. And you can take a look at all of those. There's some of the keys as to what these mean. That's your daily report, and last but not least is your custom statistics. Now what this does is you can actually say, well, again, we select the data we want, active import. Let's just say you say, well, I want to check a 2-month period from the 1st of June. It says the start date needs to be within the dates entered. So we say cancel, and we say the 1st of June 2016, because that's the date. There we go, of this, and let's just say the 31st of July 2016. Enter. That's from, so in other words, that 2-month period, it shows your total usage, your average daily usage, all these different figures here. And as you scroll down, you can actually see each half-hour period, what's the total usage, minimum usage, maximum usage, average, rank, so on and so forth, but based on that period. So in other words, what was your total usage between midnight and 30 minutes past midnight from the 1st of June to the 31st of July? There's your figure. So that's pulling out the stats. You can have a look down here as to what that all means. It's pulling out the stats based between those two dates. If you want to do a general report over a 2-month, 3-month, 4-month, even a 3 or 4 day period, you can use this to do just that. So those are your reports. You've got your custom statistics, daily report, weekly report, monthly report, overall annual report, and you can select on all of them the specific month, week, day, so on and so forth, and also which of these batches of data you actually want to have a look at. So I hope that is clear to you. Yeah, take a look at the PDF brochures and stuff, and do get hold of us if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay, there is one other thing I wanted to show you guys, which is an added on. I don't normally show this kind of thing, but for this I think it's important. if you're using this for a client, and the client wants, say for argument's sake, the client would like to see this monthly report for July. If you want to send the client something, I would be hesitant. In fact, I would say don't send the client the spreadsheet, because if you send the client the spreadsheet, they can actually use the spreadsheet to calculate their own charts, and they may or may not need you. If you are the client who's using this, then fair enough, but I would still keep this under wraps. So what you can do is, if you want to send, say for argument's sake, your client this document, the best thing to do would be to go to File. Once you've saved as, what you want to do with the save as is save it as a PDF. So if you save it as a PDF, what will happen is you're going to send it as a PDF, so they'll have a PDF of this page report, and you won't have to worry about them being able to use the spreadsheet. If you see that it doesn't quite print properly onto a PDF, all you do is you go to View, and you go to Page Break View, and then you can drag these blue lines around to the edges in order to make sure that it fits exactly on a page. I have set it up to fit in a page, but it would depend on your printer. So I would say File, Save As a PDF. Now if you say, well actually that's quite cool, but it's a bit of a hassle going to File, Save As, what you can do is you can click on this little arrow at the top here, Customize Quick Access Toolbar, say Show More Commands, then scroll down to Save As, and just click Add and go OK. And what that does is it adds a Save As button to this top little toolbar. So now when you click that, you can just save that as a PDF, send the PDF to the client. The client will have that specific sheet as a PDF. They won't have access to all your different spreadsheets and all the different capabilities of the spreadsheet, and you will protect what you've purchased, and they will have a report, and everyone will be happy, and you won't be giving anything away for nothing. So yeah, I hope that that's helpful, and I thank you very much and wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.